Alright, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back for another session of DEAMS reporting and training. And right now we're going to cover some Java-based reporting and information that you're going to be able to see. So over here I've already had it saved in my favorites by going in and editing favorites, and I just have my view forms right here. But over here you're going to be able to find your DEAMS PTP inquiry, and if you go ahead and click on that, what it'll do is it'll open up on the right hand side here all of the items underneath DEAMS PTP inquiry. What we want to look through is we want to go all the way down to the bottom. We're just going to click right here on Run. Once we click on that data, what it's going to end up doing is it's going to run for a minute. Don't worry, don't think, just let it go. Yeah, it's going to seem like it's doing nothing, but then in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, in about 30 seconds, you're going to see that little Java icon coffee cup come up. You're going to see a request for your identity certificate. It'll default probably to email. Just choose your identity. It's the same way you logged into DEAMS. And then it'll ask you for your CAC pin. And before you know it, the Java environment will open. With the advent of technology, it'll open right now. And there we are. So now it's opened us back here to the DEAMS PTP inquiry. It's already opened with a submit new request, because that can be found by going all the way under there and locating the requests and single request. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to just go ahead and run a single request worksheet. What this does is this allows us in the Java environment, which is a real-time processing environment, to run reports that are directly pulled from the ledgers. So what we want to do is we're just going to click on the ellipsis over here. Ellipsis is 3 dots or 3 periods for anybody who hasn't heard it before. And now notice that there's an entire DEAMS listing of reports here. If I can just show you a few more. So we have, here's a -2, here's a 448 MIPR, here's a Form 9 report. All of these are very, very useful for when we run it. The first report I'm going to show you, though, is probably on either page 2 or 3, depending on how many listings you have, but it's right here, the DEAMS ODL, Open Document Listing. I know that right now with OBIEE or OB, they are working to test 5 units on site with the ODL, and it's very nice that they're doing that. But we're just going to go ahead and click OK. It's going to open up all of our parameters. We've seen this several times. I'm not going to worry about limiting. I'm just going to worry about making sure that I have my OE entered in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put mine, make sure that it is you, and then I'm just going to scroll all the way down here to the bottom, because for me the rest of the information on my ODL doesn't really bother me. Now remember that in the DEAMS Java environment, anything that's highlighted with yellow is a mandatory field. So make sure you put in your DEAMS 3-digit site ID. I don't have CivPay in here yet, but I am going to exclude it, because if CivPay is in there, we all know the accrual process that's on there. And then I'm going to click OK. Now you could click Submit right here, but understand that everything in Java environment will default to a PDF. So just by clicking on Options, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click in that Format field, because now notice, look what happens. Now we have the ellipsis. When we click on that ellipsis, and it just means more information is available, it now defaults to Excel, and I'm going to click OK. We now have the Excel situation up there. I'm going to click OK again, and now I can go ahead and click Submit. Once I click Submit, you get a little nice auditable tone, and now you're going to get your information here on what you've actually been running. This stores data, I think, for 15 days, but you can click Refresh, and you can click Refresh 20,000 times. The amount of times you click Refresh does not matter. It's the time it takes the report to run. So you can click that Submit button, go away, wait 5 minutes, have a cup of coffee, come back, and it'll probably be running. Or you can be the person who sits here and clicks until it runs. But with the technology, it'll be running in just a second. Alright, so now we've gone ahead and we received our completed phase. Notice it's no longer highlighted. I'm just going to go ahead and click View Output. And now it's going to export our data. Remember, as in DEAMS, we want to make sure that we save everything that comes out. So it just comes out as a DEAMS ODL 97-2003. Just go ahead and close that, save over it, and then it'll offer you the opportunity to download it down below and open it up once it's done. Now you may get this file format don't match and it's unsafe. Go ahead and click yes and open it up. It does open it into a Unicode code file, even though that you did tell it that you were doing a 97-2003 file. Alright, so first thing you'll notice when you export out of the Java environment is there's no enabled content, there's no macros behind it, it's just raw data. But you will also notice that line 1 here gives us a lot of parameter information, our entire parameter set, that we can scroll down. Well, 32 lines, I don't want any of them, so I'm going to get rid of all of those lines of data. I'm just going to right click and click delete. Now notice, yes, we have our header in row 1, but we have all of this other GLAC data down below. And no, don't pay attention to the fact that this GLAC starts with 1, so maybe I should be paying attention to it. Remember, GLACs 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are proprietary counting. We don't need to worry about them. We're worried about the 4 series GLACs. This is old data and information. I've confirmed that with the DEAMS Help Desk. These GLACs are not the most current and up to date because they've been working on OBIE. So we're just going to delete all of those and get them out of the way. And now what we're left with is a nice ODL. So this is anything that has a balance sitting out there, any document that exists that doesn't have everything over here in outlay for accrued expenditures paid. So now we're going to have a commitment balance, an obligation balance, our accrued expenditures unpaid balance, and our advanced payments. Now this is where you're going to notice that you're going to have certain POs that are out there with a negative accrued balance. Those are probably one side of a JV or a 1081 that are sitting out there against the documents. And pay special attention because occasionally this ODL does not clear information off of it. So you want to make sure that you look. But you have everything going across, all your reimbursement lines, your UFCO, your CFOC, and your collections, and everything else, and every other alphabet soup that you want to think of on the alphabet or on the reimbursement side. Here's your total gross obs for that document. Here's your Air Force, your main account, your limit, your POA, your cost center, your RCCC, your EEC, your budget, your PEC, all the way down to your ESP sales code and your AAI. Now notice that there will be 667100 on there because if I did a 1081 back to legacy because we just converted, that's got to have something on there, and then there's going to be days aged over here in the far right column. So pay special close attention to that. But what we're looking for here is we're going to look and make sure that there's no Form 9s out there that have any residual commitment balance because they didn't shift obligation in contracting, forgot to click the check mark in PD squared that allows residual to fall off. We're going to make sure that any document that is out there doesn't have any remaining amount sitting in the obligation portion with the remaining outlays, so there wasn't some incorrect CLINs charged. We're also looking to confirm that any of our fuels transactions here have also been processed and cleared. So when I start looking at these fuels transactions here, I start to question whether or not they're double charges and double transactions that are sitting on my ODL. So we've been researching that and going back and forth with the DEAMS Help Desk to try and clean up our ODL. So if you haven't ran it, you haven't looked at it, please, please, please pay attention to it. Open it up and take a look. But now do pay attention that when we click in cells, oftentimes the formatting isn't where you want it to be. So pay special attention when you do pull it in, because when you file and you save as, you're going to save that data right back to where you wanted to. However, pay attention to now how it says that it's outputting. Now we realize that it's a web page. We don't want a web page. We want an Excel workbook, and we want it to be our DEAMS ODL. So make sure that you're paying attention to that when you're saving data and you're converting the information as is necessary. Alright, so now that data is saved, we're just going to go ahead and close out of there. And we're going to go right back here. Now, if you want to run another report, just go ahead and click on Submit a New Request. It'll run you right back to where you can run a single request. And I'm just going to show you real quick how the benefit of running your Form 9 is. Now, if you're like us, what we like to do is we like to certify a Form 9, and then we'll go in and send that information over to contracting with the attached Form 9 so that they can make sure to keep an eye on it in PD squared. So all you're going to do is go ahead and put the Form 9 number in there and click on OK. If you need to check in the ellipsis to see if it's valid, just go ahead and hit Tab, and it will bring it up, and it will try and find that exact document ID. Now this is one of those examples that's nice to have, because when you accidentally throw the contract number in there, you can go ahead and find your PO and linked report from an earlier video and find the Form 9 number that's attached to that. And then you can find it right there. And again, we have our option selection. We can choose it in English. We can export it in PDF. And oh, you can try and do it in other formats, but I'm going to leave it right where it is in PDF. And I'm going to click on OK. Now I'm just going to go ahead and click Submit and run it right away. Now is when, again, we can just click our way around refresh. But once it's completed, I'll show you it. Now that we have a completed Form 9, we're just going to click on View Output, and it should open up a PDF for us right there in the system to take a peek. So now we have a nice Form 9 that we can take a peek at, and you've seen all of this data before, but now we have our BPN, our DODAC, we have our digitally signed information. We certify that funds are available by our certifier, so you know that this one is fully approved and routed. Something I've always liked nice on our Form 9s is it does have the CIFIS line of accounting there, but then again it says, you know what, hey, let's throw in the legacy line so people still know what they're looking at. So that's a great opportunity for you. You can run just about any report out of there that you can create. So this has been another nice training and an introduction to the Java environment and reporting out of it. So keep an eye on your ODL and make sure you're finding those right documents. Thanks for coming. Look forward to seeing you next time.